7 5/10 is what percent of 125? Again, that's 7. Sometimes we call it 7.5, but 7 5/10 is what percent of 125? It's also 7.5, all right? 7.5 if you change that decimal to a fraction. So what we're going to worry about here with this problem is, how do we get there? So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this one and see what we've got going. There it is. And we're going to use that formula, the formula that says, we'll get it right there. We're going to use proportions, all right? And we're going to use that formula, that proportion formula. It basically says our part over the base is equal to percent divided by 100. Now, folks, percent is always over 100. Now, notice we do not have a percent symbol on 7.5 or 125. So that tells me that's what we're looking for. Today, we're looking for actually what goes over the 100, all right? So let's start right there, put our X and get that part situated, all right? We'll put an X there, an N, whatever you want to put, all right? It's open, ready to be worked with. Now, over here, we've got 7.5 and we've got 125. The question is, which is the base? Where did we start? Well, we started with 125 and wound up with 7.5. That's how we figured this out. So we're going to put 125 here, and we're going to say we end up with 7.5. Now from here, it's proportion. So you know what goes on. We're going to take these little extremes, that'd be 7.5 and 100, multiply them together. And we're going to take the means, 125 and X, and multiply them together. For those of you who are going, what are you talking about extremes and means? Those are kind of the little terminology. You'd like to throw them in there occasionally. But many of you just say, we're going to cross multiply. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to cross multiply and check this thing out, see what happens. So, working it through, I have 125 times X. That didn't take much thought, did it? And remember, we just jam them together when they're multiplication. Now, on the other side, we've got 7 5/10 times 100. We want to work that out. And the nice thing about multiplying by 100, this is what I really like about percents when we deal with the 100s, we're either shifting left or right with the decimal. This time we are multiplying by 100. We're going to move that decimal 2 places, which is going to give us 125x. That didn't change, obviously. But on the right-hand side, we are going to get 750. Moving that decimal 2 places, add 1 0 to accommodate it. And you know what? We're ready to divide. I'm going to go to the calculator, although I already know it's going to come out even. It better anyway. That's what I ought to say. Let's go with 750, and we're going to divide it by 125. And we have 6. That, folks, is our percent. 6%. Now again, the decimal is very important because if you don't move that decimal in the right places, you might have come up with 0.6% or 60% or even worse, okay? You could have come up with awful bad numbers here. But right here, that's very important to make sure that decimal lands in the right place. When we divide out, we do get 6%. Now, one quick word. Some of you say, well, Ernie, could we have just said 7.5 divided by 125? Because it's a ratio. And you say, Ernie, what would we do? Well, let's see what would happen. We would take 7, go back to the calculator here, see what the difference is. Have 7.5 divided by 125, and we get 6/100ths, all right? But folks, remember, what is that 6/100ths as a percent? That equals 6%. So it all works out. Whichever way you want to go through it, proportions, I think you set up, you get perfect, you know exactly where it's going. From here, you can also do it that way. Easy ways. 2 different ways to get through that final answer, 6% problem of the day. And those of you Facebook, if you turn in that number to us, you're correct. You're on it, okay?
For more math help, visit TNLearn.org.